Good morning! Yeah, feel that energy. So my name is Andrew Whitfield. I'm one of the coordinators here at 1 Million Cups of Coffee, along with a couple of other people. We've got Lindsay here and Matt in the back. So basically what we're going to do today, if this is the first time you've ever been at the deck and the 1 Million Cups of Coffee, what we do is we have 2 pitches. Each pitch is 6 minutes long. After 6 minutes, we just start clapping. We cut them off, and then there's a 15-minute Q&A session. During that Q&A session, you can really flesh out what their business is about. So a couple things you need to know about 1 Million Cups of Coffee. First of all, we are here by the good graces of the DEC, the Dallas Entrepreneurial Center. I'm going to introduce Emmanuel right here in the blue sweatshirt. If you're interested in learning more about the DEC, then I recommend that you contact Emmanuel and just do a walk around to learn a little bit more about what this whole place is about. Tons of energy, great place to work. Also, 1 Million Cups is here by the good graces of the Kauffman Foundation. The Kauffman Foundation is basically an organization that galvanizes people like you. What they want to do is they want to connect to entrepreneurs, and that's the reason we're here. There are over 100 chapters of 1 Million Cups, and this right here is a top 10 chapter, okay? So with that, we're going to go ahead and get started. Our first presenter is Kyle, right here. Kyle is actually from my alma mater, which is Gonzaga, and he represents and is the president of Global Threads, LLC. Can you stand up and give a warm welcome to Kyle?
Thank you, Andrew. So, thank you everybody. We did make these t-shirts for you, so feel free to take one. So, my name is Kyle McAllister, and I'm the president and the founder of Global Threads, LLC. We are a custom print apparel business, okay? We commemorate life-changing experiences, but simply put, we are a custom print apparel business. And then most recently, we're really excited about our latest launch. We just came up with a proprietary ordering system, and I'll get to that kind of at the end. So, he mentioned I went to Gonzaga University, and the reason that's important is that's where the business was founded. Like most universities, Gonzaga, very school-spirited, very passionate student base, and I was able to tap in to the program because while I was there, I was able to study abroad in Florence, Italy. Now, if you're not familiar with Gonzaga, we have a really good basketball school, and I saw apparel everywhere in the basketball department. Everywhere you go on campus, you couldn't miss it. Now, when I was at Gonzaga, I heard all about this Florence program. We sent about 175 students on a semester basis and 50 in the summer. And I heard all about it, but I didn't see any branding or anything about that in physical representation. So I had the idea before I left to go ahead and print some t-shirts. Now, I got feedback from my peers who I was going with, and they were really excited. They said they wanted t-shirts, they said they wanted tank tops, so I went ahead and printed about 100 shirts. Before we even left, I sold about 85 of them, and the margins were about 60%, and then upon return, people from other classes started asking me for long sleeves, for sweatshirts, for sweatpants, different color combinations. And before I knew it, I had a little business going with reoccurring revenues. So we tapped into that, and after a couple years of that success, we wanted to take it to other programs. We were really methodical in trying to master the Florence program, so then we took it to Gonzaga in China. And that was successful and different because we were able to sell directly to the school. And this was an exciting moment for me because that's when I realized we had a business. We had a $1,000 check, and then we also had a brand and a business built because we were able to put our logo on the back of that shirt. Then we also expanded to our third program, which we're really excited about, the Gonzaga and Zambezi program. Now, this is really exciting because we're finally in a position where we're going to be giving back some of our profits to the program. That's one of the things we have in the new model of business, doing good and giving back. And I'll go into that in further detail. So I talk a lot about community and brand, and that's what was missing a little bit with the study abroad program. People were telling me how much it changed their life, and it changed who they became to be. So that's what I really wanted to create a business around. And you'll see here, this picture means a lot to me because there's actually a girl in the middle there who, she was an intern for us. And she wrote me a personal letter saying how much this mattered to her, and she was very appreciative to be a part of our company. So now you guys are all probably wondering, I'll get to this program, the gold program here. We give back 10% of the profits to the specific program. I was talking about the do good in business. That's what we're doing here. Because we've had success, we're starting to give back 10% of the profits to the universities. And it's enticing to the universities because there's an ROI for them, and then the students also get the apparel that they've been wanting. Okay, now, everybody here is probably wondering, okay, it sounds good, you have revenues, you have growth, but it sounds very cyclical. You're absolutely right. And we came to found something called Local Threads, which is our local division, and it has the same methodology. We were able to tap into small businesses, schools, where they didn't really think they needed any apparel or branding, and that's helped them a whole lot. Because what we've been able to do is bring a lot of notoriety to these businesses and also these junior highs. And we're not in the business of going for bids. We don't want to get into bidding wars. We want to work closely with clients on a reoccurring basis. And it's more of a personal feel than anything. Okay, so 2016 has been an interesting year. Right now our revenue is just under 30,000, but you'll see we've had a huge November. We see a lot of generation, a lot of value in our brand. Okay, but we also have been able to gain a lot of clients in our Local Threads division. Okay, so the reason why I'm here, a couple things. One, we've had success with Gonzaga, and we see, our margins are great, we have a great model, we even have an RFP that I'm going to be showing to the school, and it's perfectly scalable. The one thing I've noticed is schools really value alumni, and not being able to be an alumni of UNT and UT and Texas A&M is a little bit of a hindrance. So I'm looking to kind of use someone's connections with the alumni to be able to sit down with someone who can make a decision. We can show them our RFP and show that there's value in this ROI for their program, which they want most of all. But also it's great for the students. And then our Local Threads division, we want to grow our client base. Right now we have 5 clients, and you'll see they're kind of sporadic, but we like that. So here you'll see there's a doctor, and we got with this doctor because he was creating a company, startup company, and he wasn't getting any traction in terms of marketing and Instagram. So we printed these shirts, he took them to a convention, and it was a major hit. And that's what Local Threads is doing. We're creating value where people didn't really think it would be there. And then you'll see a high school and then a smoothie shop as well. Okay, and then the last thing, I did this on purpose because it's a brand new rollout, our proprietary ordering system. So we had our biggest sale, about $5,000, and I almost got nervous because I thought we might lose it because it was 500 people, and I have 15 seconds, I did this by design. But the HR lady only had 120 sizes, so I didn't want to lose this sale, so I told her I know the sizes. Moral of the story is we filled the order. We're going to get the $5 grand in 90 days, but I think we're on to something.
So we open up the floor to questions, answers, and feedback. Question and answers are great, but feedback is just as good. So anybody got a question out there?
Thank you. Thanks for coming out today. It was hard to tell your competitive advantage other than you were an alum of that school, and as you said, that was a plus for you. It does look like a challenge to scale this without that. So can you tell me more about why your shirts or your program, what you offer is different from other shirt companies or printed apparel? Thank you.
Sure, good question. Yeah, I think the two things before I really answer the question is kind of, what we're doing with our brand, and then the relationships we have with our customers. But right now, the competitive advantage is contracts. We have contracts with Gonzaga. So we have that for 1 to 2 years on the various programs. So there we definitely have a competitive advantage, and what I want to do is be able to establish that with other institutions. So what we can do, once we develop contracts, then these big guys like E. Foley, who just own the library and bookstore, they can't come in and knock us out because we have a contract, and then we can develop off that contract. And then I think, I was touching on it at the end, we're onto something with the ordering system, because if you're not in the industry, you wouldn't be familiar, but for these marathons or corporate, Capital One sponsors a lot of things in the area, and they order t-shirts. And there's a big holdup because when they're ordering 700 to 900, they're trying to track down sizes. And we're coming up with a method just because where you live, what region you're in, and what you do in terms of sports, or if it's for kids, we're coming up with a really cool way to know the sizes. So to answer your question, it's contracts, but I think we're continually developing more and more advantages. Does that answer your question? Okay, sounds good.
You continue to say we. Can you tell us more about the team that's involved?
Yeah, sure. We have a designer who works for us. She used to live here in Texas. Now she lives in Florida. She's awesome. She's helped so much with the business. Just in terms of, we have a design team now. She's the only one, but she works with various clients. She goes back and forth with the people who make the decision at the other businesses. So I don't have to get involved in that. Then we have a sales representative in Washington, where I'm from. And then we have a girl who I went to school with. She's our shipping director. So all the Florence product that we ship, it's mainly in the western region, California. She does all the shipping for that. So there's a total of 4. I wear a lot of different hats, and yeah, I'm really grateful for all of them.
So in the printed apparel industry, you've got to have a ton of competitors that have got different verticals, and I've seen smoothie shop to a doctor to colleges. Do you think that it's important to pick a vertical or a focus and just go after that? And if so, which would it be for you?
Yeah, to answer your question, absolutely. I want to go after, my main vertical is these study abroad programs. To answer your question, I mean, the cyclical nature of the business forced me to find local threads. And it's been good because it's been a revenue generator and it's profitable. But yeah, I don't think, I don't want to continue to do that for the long term. I want to hone in on the study abroad programs. But then I also want to keep feeling out the local division. But right now, to be 100% honest with you, I don't know what vertical on the smaller side I want to go after yet. I think hospitals and doctors' offices, possibly, but we shall see. I saw, what's that? That was a confused look.
Yeah. Just out of all the things that you've done, it was interesting to hear hospitals. You haven't worked with hospitals yet, so it's just
Well, yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, I didn't really the big order, the $5 grand order was with a hospital in New York. So yeah, I'm glad I could clarify that.
More questions?
Hey, so I'm just listening to you in terms of where you want to go and the things you're thinking about. And I'm wondering, do you have a mentor or a business coach at all? And it sounds like, because this is fairly new, right? I'm not sure how old the company is.
Yeah, so the company's about 3 years old, and yeah, I have a couple different mentors. I have a godfather who lives in New York who has helped me a whole lot. I've tried to tap into mentorships a little bit, but a lot of it is, I haven't found the right one. I haven't found a good fit. So I go to my father and godfather a lot to answer your question.
So are you based here?
Yes, loosely.
I definitely take advantage of the deck whiteboard sessions with mentors. Give you good exposure to a lot of folks here who maybe can help you out.
Okay, thank you.
More questions? Just general feedback. In the back.
Thanks for presenting today. Have you thought about maybe not licensing this out or the brand ambassadors on the campus levels? If you're trying to get into universities, it seems like you could find students there pretty quickly that would tap into this for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a great idea. We stumbled upon it and haven't really been able to execute it the way I would like. It is something that I would love to try to get with someone who's done it before, and it's been a successful model. But to answer your question, we have flirted with it, lack for a better term, but we didn't execute well.
How about within the fraternity? I mean, within the university, the various groups. You know, you mentioned study abroad, but there's hundreds of groups, fraternities, sororities, you know, academic fraternities, whatever. There's so many within it. And this could be your input, you know, inroad into those.
Yeah, really good question. I've really gone after fraternities. I mean, these deals take, as probably everyone in this room knows, I mean, these deals really take time. We have put our name out for the fraternities and sororities at UT and UNT. We haven't had success on that yet. And then I think student groups is something we're going after as well, but we definitely tried the fraternities. And we may have something in February of 2017. But yeah, I think you're right on. We've definitely tackled fraternities. We may go after student groups as well.
More questions? Okay, you can follow up with Kyle after the session, but Kyle, one last question for you. What can this community do for you?
Yeah, I think, you know, I'm 25 years old. I had a corporate job before this. I think I like the deck because of the mentoring. I think, you know, we have a model that's making revenue and it's profitable on a top ramen basis, but I want to take this to other universities. And then, you know, there needs to be more intellectual horsepower. You know, like I mean, I don't have a whole lot of experience. Right now it's me and a couple other young people, and I think help from the community, but also get in with some of these universities, and then maybe continue to brand out our local threads division with some other small businesses or smaller contracts within the Dallas area. And then, you know, people who can, strategic partnerships, people who can help out.
All right, thank you, Kyle. Can we get a round of applause for Kyle? Okay, a couple of announcements. If you haven't done so already, 1 Million Cups has a really great app. It's a great way to see what's going to be happening in the coming weeks, and it's a really great way to sign up for the newsletter and get other really good information. Also, thanks to Crew for being here, for providing tasty treats. If you haven't done so already, go over there. They're very good. So finally, we're going to finish up today with CosmicJS, and Tony is our presenter today. So can you guys stand up and give Tony a round of applause, please?
All right. Thanks for having me, everyone. It's really exciting to see so many entrepreneurs, people who are interested in starting businesses. So it's great to be here. All right, so CosmicJS. How many are familiar with a content management system? Raise your hand if you know what a CMS is. Okay. So basically, CosmicJS is a way to actually enjoy content management, because currently content management systems are broken. Okay, so that's the thesis that we're going with the business, is developers who are building out websites and applications are having a hard time building really cool stuff using the current way of doing that. So to give you a little background, I'm the software engineer. For the better part of 10 years, I've been building out websites and applications at agencies and startups. And my co-founder, Carson Gibbons over here, he's basically been my partner in crime on the business end of satisfying clients, building out products for them, making sure that projects are done on time and on budget. And so he's been basically the other half of the company before it was even a company. So we would woodshop together on projects when we worked in an agency together, basically scoping out projects on a timeline that a lot of times when we scoped the CMS, it just made everything super bloated. We realized there was a huge problem there. And so to satisfy that problem, I came up with an API-first content management platform. What does that mean? What is an API? Anybody know what an API is? Raise your hand if you heard of API. Does anybody know what that stands for? It's an acronym, right? Application Programming Interface. Okay, so the basis of this business is on the concept that the API is the future, right? These installed content management systems that we have built out for a lot of clients that are kind of still around, they're going to be obsolete in a very short time because they can't scale to websites, iOS, Android applications. What an API does is it allows your content to scale across devices and platforms to allow your content to be distributed. And that's powerful. That's where everybody's getting their information. It's either on their phone, their desktop computer, or if they have a watch, they need to get information from that. And so an API allows that distributed content. So that's what CosmicJS is aiming to do, is to make it easy for developers to build out these applications to be distributed across devices. So I told you a little about myself. I like to call myself the doer-in-chief, because when you're the founder, you basically have to do everything. And I was lucky enough to find, like, in working together, an amazing co-founder who, he does a lot of stuff as well, but we don't have anybody else on the team. So we're not, we're a two-person team at the moment. We don't have any contractors or freelancers. It's just us. We do all the work. So who are we serving? Well, our customers mainly are developers. So this concept of a bottom-up approach to business is huge right now, right? Meaning that you try to satisfy the user that's going to be using your product first. So you have to make a really awesome product. And that's the number one goal, is to create a great product which will speak to people and make their jobs easier. That's who we're speaking to as a developer. We're making his job, her job, really easy so that they look really good to their boss or their coworkers. So their coworkers are basically non-tech people who want to be able to manage content quickly and easily. We allow them to do that within our platform. So the content editors are empowered to do their job quicker and easier. And also, our customer is the boss. They want to see a nice fat bottom line. So we allow them to basically cut out an entire portion of their development process by not having to install the CMS. It's a service. So here's the product tour, and it's done. This is actually a video that we have on our pitch deck, but I can't play it right now. So to kind of give you an idea of what the product is specifically, I want you to think about this idea, like big picture idea. Everybody remembers CDs, compact discs, like music. You know, you kind of put up with it because, you know, it was what was available at the time. And then the CD gave way to the MP3. That was a little better, right? You could download your music and you could store it on your device. That was okay, you put up with that. But then when subscriptions came out, you're like, this is the way to go now, right? Everybody's flocking to subscriptions. They don't want to have to download stuff. They don't want to have to keep it on their device, taking up space. And so we're moving from this kind of heavy hardware-based type of technology infrastructure into a services-based infrastructure, right? Who's ever used an Uber and said, I'd rather be driving my car right now. You want to use the service because it's a great service, right? So that's kind of, the momentum is shifting from this idea that, you know, you have to have an overhead to get your content. Not anymore. For content, all you have to do is plug into CosmicJS and you can basically move your content to wherever you want it to go. So that's CosmicJS.
Thank you, Tony. So, any questions, feedback?
There's so many questions, but I'm going to just say, first of all, appreciated the opening, what you're showing us. Got really disappointed when I didn't get to see the product.
Sorry.
So, just want you to know that.
We didn't want to have any blips in the...
No, I totally understand it, but to see it was going to be there and then nothing was a disappointment, kind of a disappointment. But anyway, but I'm really intrigued by what you're doing. And my questions are around, I mean, I don't know if you have any traction. I don't know how you compare with others. I don't know what your go-to-market plan is, who you're targeting, so, and security, of course. Those are all my questions, but just pick one.
Sure. I think I want to address the target, right? So, like I said, we're a bottom-up type of company where we've narrowed our target customer to the developer.
There's thousands of developers, kinds of developers.
Sure, we want all of them. So we want to make all of their jobs easier. So there's different types of developers. You have like your back-end developer, you have your front-end developer, you have your kind of IT guy who's really, you know, more networking type of capabilities. We're going after the person who's building the application, because that's where I come from. That's my background. The company exists because it satisfies a problem that I had, and so that's who we're going after. Is basically somebody like me who's been in the agency world, who's seen the pain points and knows that there's a better way, and just needs this solution. And there are tons of people. Like, just to give you an idea of who's using the platform currently. Over 70 countries we have signed up on the platform that are either paid customers or using it on the freemium tier. So, we basically have a global presence right now that's realizing that there's a problem, and they want a solution, like a service, to satisfy that problem. Instead of building it in-house, which a lot of other people have tried to do, there's a way to just say, okay, I'll pay $9 a month for the service because it's going to satisfy my problem that much more effectively.
When your customer runs into the problem that you've outlined, who are the competitors that they're looking at along with you guys, and why are they choosing you over those competitors?
Sure. So I want to, I'll keep it to like the incumbents in the CMS world. So WordPress owns about 20% of the world's websites that are content managed. That's huge, right? That's millions, hundreds of millions of websites that are still using this antiquated installation process. So there's going to be a shift. If you want to think about the way that Stripe made headlines this past week, Stripe got valued at $9 billion. The youngest billionaire in the country is now one of the co-founders of Stripe. He's John Collison, and he was able to. The brothers themselves. It's John and oh man, I'm gonna hurt myself. Patrick Collison. So they realized a way that they need to address the developer concerns first, and then they'll scale up in the company. So that's basically the way that CosmicJS is setting itself up, is to satisfy that first problem, and then it'll scale up within the company. And the same way that Stripe, Braintree, they've satisfied the problem with building out really intricate payment gateway systems on installed software, we're doing the same thing for content. So I kind of like to speak in analogies like that to make it seem easier to understand, but it's being done right now all around us, and this is a space that just needs that disruption.
More questions? Feedback? Okay, Tony, here we go. One more.
What is your go-to-market strategy, and how are you identifying developers that are in need of your product right now?
So basically, that's a very good question. Where they hang out, that's really what we're going after right now. And where developers hang out is where education is happening. They want to find out more information. They want to know what's around the corner for their development process. I mean, as a developer myself, we're hungry. I know that I want to be as efficient as I can to get the job done faster and easier. I want to please my boss, my clients, making sure that everybody on the team is effective at what they do, and that starts with building out a killer product that is set up for the future. And I think that taking that approach and saying we're going to be helpful to people, I mean that's huge. Like if you just base your business on just trying to help people, really you're going to be successful. Any way you look at it, like somebody's going to want to pay for your service or thank you in some way. It's paying it forward first before them subscribing to the platform. It's really being a very positive leader in the space.
Thanks for presenting today. I have a question on the rollout. Are you going to go just for individuals, or what about, they do go to work, so what if their company has a system they're already using or a tool they're already using? Are you going to have an enterprise section in this too?
Great question. So basically, the platform can be used to provide content into any existing or new application. So if enterprise moves a little slower, so if there's there's a portion of a large website that just needs really easy content management, they can plug into the API that we offer and make that easier for their developers and their team. We don't offer an enterprise plan just yet because that's kind of our go-to-market strategy is let's start first at maybe hobbyists or freelancers or people who are in small to mid-sized agencies, and let's really figure out the problem first. Let's get it to a point to where you don't have to have a sales team. I mean, we don't sell. We don't. Like, people come to us and they upgrade on their own. We don't really talk to anyone through the process unless it's like to help troubleshoot some issues that they're having. So more or less, it's like we don't need to sell to enterprise because we don't have a sales team. The developer's going to sell to the enterprise themselves.
Okay, more questions for Tony? Feedback? All right, Tony, one last question. What can this community do for you?
I think the DEC is awesome. I would love to just get more feedback and maybe seek out some people who are in this space, know that there is a problem with content management systems, and or has a developer that they know or a website that they have that they're frustrated with, and they need a little bit of guidance on that. I'm willing to help with any sort of suggestions or feedback, and likewise, I would like to just get some feedback from all of you guys and find out if there's a need for it in your organization, or if you know somebody who is a developer that could possibly benefit from it.
All right, thank you, Tony.
Thanks, y'all.
Okay, so that's the end for us. The schedule for 1 Million Cups is going to be fluctuating a lot with the holidays. The best way to stay abreast of what's happening is to download the app, 1 Million Cups, okay? With that, we'll see you next week for 2 more pitches.